All right, good morning, good morning, good morning, Radio Land, everybody in Tucson, everybody in Pima County. Good morning to you. This is the Fresh Start Show with Dr. Holt. Listen, we are so excited to see you again on this beautiful Saturday morning. Today is going to be a beautiful day. No matter how your week started, it's going to end out a beautiful weekend. Listen, we have a wonderful show for you on today, and we're looking forward to uh, listening to Tom, our co-host, his story. You want to listen to this story, especially our brothers and sisters who have gotten themselves into contact with the criminal justice system, who's been incarcerated. This is a powerful story of have experiencing a lot of trauma, going through a lot of pain and brokenness, but yet through the grace of God, he's been able to be resilient and persevere. So today is his 39th anniversary, and so we want to give him as much time as possible to really talk into his story. Before we get to that, remember, save the date, save the date, save the date. The Fresh Start Expo is this year, coming back to you this fall, October 21st, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is the ultimate one-stop shop. It is gigantic, ginormous. It is a monstrosity of healing our city and supporting our brothers and sisters who've had contact with law enforcement and the justice system and who's been incarcerated. Listen, we're doing it again. We're bringing the city courts down here. We bring in our superior courts, our justice courts, our juvenile courts, our county attorney, our public defender's office. It's going down at the TCC downtown on October 21st. You want to get your brother, sister, cousin and them, your auntie, your uncle, Ray and them, Pookie them, Mary, Martha, whoever wants to come. We want you to come because this is for you. And we want to make sure that we're helping our brothers and sisters to get their voters' rights back, be able to vote again, helping our brothers and sisters to get a job. So you don't have to go back into recidivism, going back to prison, getting housing, get a home, putting a roof over your head for you and your family. We're looking to do some amazing things. We're going to be bringing Pima County one-stop shop, coming back, doing our jobs piece, felony-friendly employment. We're going to be sealing your records. If you're 3 years out, we can probably, under special conditions, certain conditions, get your records permanently sealed. Amen. Let me say it again. Permanently sealed, to where if jobs do a background check or if your landlord do a background check, they will not be able to see what's in your background. So, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't even have that last year. This just came into effect January 1 of this year. So this is going to be huge. Let me tell you, to be able to permanently seal your records to where if you apply from Walmart, Target up to Raytheon or Microsoft, we will not be able to see your record. If you go and apply for a house, apply for an apartment, that seal your record law is going to seal your record to where they will not be able to see it. This is going down this year. So a lot of people don't even know this legislation took place this year, January 1. We want you to be able to take advantage of that. We're also doing hairstyles for ladies, haircuts for men. We're going to have some job interview clothes for you. So we're going to have some suits we're going to give away. Absolutely no cost. We're providing child care under the same event. So bring the kids. You don't have to find a babysitter. We have the babysitters. Just you and your family come down to this event, and we're going to make sure that you are good. I mean, so there's so many different things from We've held people from thousands of dollars of court fees, thousands of dollars of court fines. We've had people with suspended driver license, been driving dirty and illegal for the last several years, and come to Fresh Start, working with one of our judges from City of Justice Courts, was able to reinstate your driver's license by putting you on a payment plan. Listen, there's no excuse to be driving dirty. There's no excuse to be looking over your back. There's no excuse to be being jobless because you got a felony. No excuse used to feel like you got to live in the shelter because you can't find a home. Listen, Fresh Start is real deal. We've been doing this for 3 years now. We have the track record. We have the reputation. We have the agencies. We have the courts. We have the communities backing, the mayor's backing, our city managers backing. I mean, listen, man, let's come down here and let's handle your business. Go out there and let's clean your past up so your doors of the future can be brighter. Listen, we've all made mistakes. And that is why our big slogan is mistakes should only be a life lesson, but not a life sentence.
Amen.
I don't know if y'all hear me out there, but let me tell you, mistakes should only be a life lesson, but it should not be a life sentence. Listen, I want to have Tom to come in. He's our new co-host with the show. He's been helping the brother out. You guys know I'm all over the nation outside of Fresh Start, my professional business. Now I'm starting my functional medicine clinic. So I've been busy dealing with that. So I'm all over the place with Tom. So Tom has been truly a blessing to the Fresh Start family, to the Fresh Start show, to me as the founder specifically. And we're just happy to have him to come aboard to work with us. And so what's going on, Tom?
Amen. Thank you. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody out at the Bureau of Prisons, everybody out at the ADC prisons that are listening to the program. We always have you guys in mind. What's going on? Today is June 10th. It's 39 years and 1 day since I had a gunfight with Tucson Police Department, and I was shot. And they rushed me to St. Joseph's Hospital where I bled out, and I passed. And they brought me back, and I woke up the next day in a hospital bed, handcuffed to the hospital bed, paralyzed from the waist down.
You say 39 years ago. What was I doing 39
Were you
years
born, bro?
ago? I was born, but let me tell you, at this time, about 30, 40 years ago, I believe when I was watching cartoons, if I was watching Cartoon 39s, I was watching the Super Friends, I was watching the Wonder Twins, Superman. I remember the Thundercats, Voltron. I'm taking it back. I mean, 30, 40 years ago. That's a cartoon. So let's look at some shows. Family Matters. All of those good shows, Sanford and
MASH.
Son, MASH, The Jeffersons, Seinfeld. Yeah, man. So what was the other one they met at the bar? What was that? Oh, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah. So we talk about going 40 years ago. I'm thinking like, what was we doing 40 years ago? Wow. No cell phones.
Yeah.
No social media.
Yeah.
Straight up landlines.
Yeah.
Maybe a pager.
No, they had just come out with those cell phones.
Yeah,
but
the
they
big
were like
ones.
the size of a block.
Yeah.
And it had the big antenna.
Yeah. It's like a portable CB.
You did not look cool carrying that.
And we had pagers back then.
Pagers.
Payphones.
Yeah.
Payphones 40
Where are
years
they?
ago. Man, you remember that?
Yeah.
Putting the quarter in, rolling up. Man, 40 years ago. I just had to throw that in there, throw some humor in there, man. 40 years ago is to let you know how much society have advanced and changed.
Yeah.
I'll let you go back to your story, but let's put things in perspective.
Sure. And you know what? There were trees planted then that are 100 feet high now.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and that's one of the things you notice when you get out and you come back to where you're from. Everything is different because everything has grown.
It's grown. Yeah.
Died.
I forgot that. You remember the what was the big radio thing we wore on our shoulders? The what we call that?
Boombox.
Boombox. Yeah. That was the era of the boombox.
Yeah. What?
Man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. What was that movie? He held up the boombox above his head.
Man, what show was that?
Oh man, no.
It was 40-something years ago, and that was some good hip hop music back then too. Man, we had the in the 80s. We have Run DMC, LL
Yeah.
Cool J. Then some other ones started coming out. Big Daddy Kane, I don't know if you remember that one.
Mhm.
We have some good songs that came out around 40-some years ago, too. But yeah, man, 40 years ago, 4 decades,
40
man.
years ago, Rolling Stones,
Rolling
Black Sabbath,
Stones, yeah, yeah.
Scorpions,
Yeah. Guns N'
Wow,
Roses, but yeah. Oh, yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And you still see them on stage.
Yeah, still on stage.
40 years
Yeah, going
later.
hard.
Yeah.
Going
Hey,
hard.
man.
And Tina Turner was a major.
Oh, yeah.
In the
And
80s, it's doing.
I mean, up to 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, just up 6 weeks ago.
She put a show
Yeah,
on that she was getting down.
Yeah.
You
The
know, her
late
share
Tina
got
Turner.
down. Yeah.
Yes, and I think about the 80s, man. 40. We talking about this is when MTV.
Yeah.
This is when MTV, man,
Yeah.
came out like
Yeah.
boom. Man, that's just crazy to think about 40 years ago and using cassette tapes.
And fentanyl didn't even exist.
So yeah, fentanyl did not exist.
It was crack.
Yeah, crack was
freebase,
heavy. Yeah,
freebase,
yeah,
and crack.
yeah.
and,
40 years ago.
and there came in high school, college. I went to college on a wrestling scholarship and blew out my knee in the first match.
Hmm.
My whole identity was caught up in what I was physically capable of doing.
Okay.
I didn't know the Lord. I was raised Catholic. I never was introduced to Jesus. And when I lost my ability to do the things that made me who I was,
Yeah.
I lost my identity.
Okay.
So I found it in alcohol. I found it in drugs, and it just got worse and worse. And I couldn't be who I was. And I never really knew who I was, bro, because like we've talked, the traumas that I experienced as a little kid, with the molestations and stuff like that, I'm still dealing with that.
So have you ever came to terms, because this is unique, as a doctor, and I work with patients that have had sexual abuse type of traumas. Our females really have a really tough time. So I can only imagine with the masculinity of being a man and things of that nature and the shame. And have you ever have you ever addressed the perpetrator that have done it? Do you have you ever came to terms with anything like that?
Actually, yeah. And I mean, multiple times the Lord says, leave your gift at the altar and reconcile with your brother. You read that and you say, okay, I forgive the person that did this to me because I want to move on with my life and I don't want this to hold me back. But you know what? That doesn't do it.
Right.
And I know the Lord knows that doesn't do it because it came some years later where I was out in a public setting for a family type function. The individual was there. Very clear voice told me, leave your gift at the altar and reconcile with your brother.
Okay.
And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I've already done this. I've already forgiven him. Why do I have to go be near him in order to do this?
Yeah.
He said, because I asked you. So leave your gift at the altar and reconcile with. And I did. And I went to him and I actually said to him that I'm sorry that I didn't come to you sooner so that you could have gotten the help you needed when you were younger, so that your life wouldn't have turned out the way it did.
How old were you when this happened? Or was this a series of events?
No, that's actually only 6 years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
And how old were you when the events were taking place?
From 5 to 11.
Okay.
And I actually got out of prison and lived at his house.
Really?
When I got violated and sent back.
Wow.
Because that's the only place they would let me go.
Mm.
Right? So I had to go to a place where the person who molested me as a child was the owner of the residence.
Wow.
So
they put you right back into the space.
That's what they approved for my residence being released from prison. To go live with the person who abused you.
Right. Yeah.
I can't say anything, bro, because I never said anything to begin with. I never told anybody about it. And we've talked about this previously where I had to sit down with my family and tell my family, hey, you know what? I've hated you my whole life.
Yeah.
You were supposed to protect me.
Yeah.
You were supposed to keep him from doing this to me.
Yeah.
And you didn't. They didn't know. How could they protect something that they didn't know? You know, and everybody, you know, mom knows. They didn't know, and there was no way I could open my mouth, you know, and say something about it.
Yeah.
You know, my dad was a police officer, bro, for
Yeah, I
28
remember you telling me
years.
that, yeah.
You know, and violent police officer. I mean, he beat us
Yeah.
when we were kids. You did something wrong, you got beat, you know, and we've talked about that before. You know, if dad's working 2-3 jobs and you never see him, you know what? If you do something wrong, you're going to see him first.
Mm-hmm. So speeding up to your adulthood, obviously, because, you know, in my profession, we look at early childhood trauma. We know that when these traumas enter into a young person's life at such an early age during key times of brain development, that it impacts the whole person. And trauma just don't impact the brain and the mind, but it goes down to the soul.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced you felt like there was some deeply rooted wounds cut down to the core?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really easy to go to that emotion,
Yeah.
you know, to get right there.
Yeah.
And you can feel that.
Yeah.
You know, most of my life today is like that was a different person, you know, and this person that the Lord has, you know, blessed but I can go right back to that. And like, you know, because you've had these experiences where you've come to grips with something that we feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I've heard you talk about it, and that's what part of me being devoted to this is that you know what we felt.
Yeah.
When and I don't care what anybody says, everybody in prison goes through this at one point in time, bro.
Yeah.
Where there is just this soul searching moment where you are crushed on all sides. You know that verse, crushed, right?
Yeah.
On all sides.
On every side,
and you're just hoping that what comes out is going to be good, you know, because everything that's come out previously has been bad, because look at where you are, you know? It wasn't until I opened my mouth, bro. It wasn't until that woman came up and told me, you know, I don't even want you in my group. You're so selfish to keep your stories of your life that may save another life to yourself. I don't even want you in my group. And I was like, oh my God, how did this woman can't talk to me this way?
Right.
So I went to every group after that, bro, and I opened up, I just wide open. Just let the blood flow from those wounds, let the scars be open, and you know what? See what happens. And inevitably, there was somebody who suffered some type of similar trauma, whether it be the sexual abuse, the physical abuse, the verbal abuse. And all of a sudden, we were part of a family. We were like linked because, you know what, we're not so different. And you know what, this is a black dude and he went through this. And this is a Hispanic dude and he went through this in his family.
Right.
We're no different than each other, bro. You know, it's like that. I mean, humor. I mean, there's the guy on that does a reel, and he says, in the South, we were just poor. You know, we weren't black and white. When you're eating cereal out of a stained Cool Whip dish from SpaghettiOs, you're just poor. You know what?
Don't take me back to them days.
What color are you? Poor.
Po. Ain't no R on it. It's po.
Yeah, you can't even fulfill the poor.
There's poor, and then there's po.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I was po.
Yeah. You know, so when he talks about poor in spirit, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah. So, as we're talking about this show, and we got brothers and sisters in the pen listening, how does this relate to them? Because there's a lot of pain and brokenness in prison.
Yeah, and the difficulty in there, bro, is you've got to have this facade. You've got to put up this show
putting on a
every
mask.
day, 24/7, hypervigilance, compound complex trauma, because this is what you do with your life now.
Yeah.
Because where's your hope? You know, where do you get relief? If you are in a single cell, maybe you get those moments. If you're in dorms and stuff, 24/7, you're living it.
Wow.
You know, and single cells, a 2-man cell, you don't know who they're going to put you in with. You don't know if this dude's just nuts and he's going to kill you in the middle of the night.
Right.
You know, so I mean, constantly you are on high alert.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you can't be.
Wow.
And how do you stop that? And then once your mind is there, bro, and you walk away from that into a calm environment, your homeostasis is completely altered.
Yeah.
So this, what is a normal homeostasis, is so foreign to you, you don't even know how to get there.
Yeah.
There's no map that can get you there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why when I hear you talk, when I read your words in your books, we can get there. There is hope.
There's hope.
You know, but you got to talk.
You got to talk.
You got to open your mouth, and you got to trust somebody. And you know what? If they screw you, kick their butt, all right? And then trust somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, but please trust somebody and talk about it, man, because once you start letting it out, it not only helps you, but it's going to help somebody else. You know, and collateral salvation, I mean, if we're talking it, bro, somebody's hearing it. Somebody's seeing us talk about it, and they're seeing how it's affecting us when we're talking about it, because we're speaking life. And when we keep doing that, people are going to be attracted to it.
So let me ask you this. So based on your experience, based on, you said, what, 28 years in prison? You spent
28, just over.
Yeah, okay, so 28 years, almost 30 years in prison. What are some, speaking to, we only got a few minutes left, but what are some deep emotional pains that other people in prison feel that I believe that general population and society don't realize how they feel? You know, because they look at us as animals and thugs and crazy people, murderers and killers.
Yeah.
But from a human's perspective, what are people in prison really feeling?
I'll tell you, and I know this is just a super high percentage that they figure out at some point in time that it didn't just affect them. Mm-hmm. That it affected a whole family of people, and outside of that, another family of people, and it didn't affect them in a positive way.
Right.
And we're not just talking about the victims, bro.
Yeah.
We're talking about your immediate family, my family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, in the extended family, the people, you know, that I grew up with, the people I went to school with, the people that, you know, looked up to me and said, "Oh my God, you know, what happened to him?"
Yeah.
You know, because people don't know. All they see is the incident, the shooter. You know, but they don't see his life.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody wants to see it at that point,
right,
bro.
Right.
Because there's no mercy left. There's no compassion left at that point. You know, and
so in these last few seconds, 30 seconds, because I got to do my last 2 minutes of closing out with promos and stuff. But these last 30 seconds, speak to those people who are listening to us that may be in prison, that's really down in the dumps, that's really depressed. What kind of word of inspiration can you give them?
Return to your first love. There is something in life that caused you to want to live.
Yeah.
Return to that. Because when you get there, then each day becomes a little bit easier to move forward in each moment because you're moving towards something. When you're just moving toward a date, there's not much to move toward because you're looking 24/7, hypervigilance.
Yeah.
But this date is 20 years down the road. There's hope, bro. And if I could say anything to him, return to that first love. Because there's someplace deep inside of you where that purity is still there and hasn't been depleted.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is an amazing story. We want you to come back and tell us a little bit more. You got some more to really spill out. And so most definitely we want you to come back and share another episode on your story. I think it's very remarkable, very powerful, and very inspirational for those who are listening who feel like they want to give up. It's hard. I've been told no 1,000 times. I've been rejected 1,000 times. The door of opportunity has been slammed in my face over and over and over. Why should I continue to keep pressing on? Because we believe that mistakes is only a life lesson. It shouldn't be a life sentence, and we believe in that. So thank you, Tom, for that powerful testimony. And I'm sure some listeners listening into that, and they got a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel by just hearing your story. So we thank you.
Every no is one step closer to yes.
Yes, I truly believe that. Listen, guys, we're just about out of here. Remember, October 21st, the Fresh Start Expo is coming to you this fall at the TCC, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're here to help you with your legal issues so that you can have a brighter future, and hope is here. And we believe that where everyone deserves a new beginning. Tom, what we got in the community?
What do we got in the community? I'm doing another Cost of Poverty experience coming up on July 20th, Bethel Community Baptist Church. It's from 8 a.m. to 11:30. You get to go through what it is to live a month in the life of somebody that lives in poverty during a simulation. And it's an incredible, impactful event which is going to cause you to action.
There you go. It's been said. Thank you, Tom. We out of time. See us every Saturday morning on the 106 The Groove, 7:30. We'll be here next week. Have a good day.